Welcome to the Budnik Podcast. We're here with Tabitha Stout. Hi, Tabitha. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, John?
Doing well. Doing well.
Thanks for having me.
So you're based in Atlanta. I'm up in Cleveland. So glad we could get together on Zoom.
Likewise. How's the weather up there?
It's been beautiful, actually. It's been kind of over the heat of the summer and now back to kind of just pleasant before we hit fall weather. So we're enjoying it while we can.
Good. That's the way to do it. It's cooled off a little bit down here, but the last couple of days have been kind of rainy, so I'm kind of used to it by now. It's still hot and humid though.
Yeah.
That's why I don't ever do my hair, because it's just pointless.
Sorry, you've got kids. I've got kids. Are your kids heading back to school this fall, or they started school?
So that's a good question. And yes, thank goodness. If you can't see some degree of relief on my face, it's because I still haven't gotten there. But the school that they both go to, they're doing like a progressive return. So they've categorized the kids into 3 different groups. And they launched it's called a sync program, basically virtual learning, but they still have access to their teachers, one-on-one teaching. But thankfully, and fingers crossed, I was not, one of my gifts was definitely not teaching a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. I did my best, but I think it should be left to the experts. But hopefully by next week, they'll be back to school full time, 5 days a week. But right now it's just 3.
Okay.
And yeah, for the last couple of weeks, they've rotated which days they're on campus as kind of like a trial and error. So, but today I am kid free, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet, but next week we're looking forward to it.
Good.
So there might
Do
be
do they go back like full time, or are they doing like a progressive?
Pretty much, I think we're still waiting to see what. It seems like it'll be full time.
Oh, that'll be good for you, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, podcasting has been interesting when you never know when a kid's going to come, or usually 2 kids arguing about something.
Yeah, that's right. Believe me, I get it. I 200% get it.
It's never one of them. It's one telling on the other, and then the other one telling on I'm going to tell on you. No, I'm going to tell on you.
And then it's always the other kid's fault. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, good. I'm glad that they're going to get back into a routine. That's probably good for all of you.
So what have you been doing this summer? You've been doing some, got a lot of work going on, and then trying to balance that with time with the family and.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hard for me to articulate it because I know everyone's kind of to some degree in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the majority of my summer, I really tried to, excuse me one second, learn time management, if that's even a thing anymore. And that harmony to find between like spending time with family, spending time with friends, getting work done. But I'm pretty fortunate with the job that I have that I can kind of do it as needed as long as I'm available. So that makes it a bit easier. So this summer I was able to take my youngest son to go visit family in the Midwest, which was a great experience. We hadn't seen them in almost a year, given all the COVID stuff. So that was nice. And then we had some family come to visit us. So usually like the month of July and June, they're pretty packed full with either travel or having people here. So now it's just kind of getting back into the routine. I've been trying to do this for a long time, but I've been trying to, I guess, relaunch my business. I tend to get pretty scattered, so I'm not the best at task management, but I've been attending things like the podcast shows and training. I've been working with a couple of mindset coaches, and then really just trying to help people where I can. So my boyfriend works full time, so he's not here a lot of the time. So it's kind of my job to make sure that the kids get where they need to be. The communications are coordinated. Bills are paid, like all that good stuff. So that's kind of what I've done this summer. No swimming, obviously, which was kind of different, but a good thing.
I sort of feel like a lot of the summer's been, preparing for stuff and then having the one big thing, and then it's been a lot of running around, I think.
For sure.
And then, so what type of business are you working on launching for yourself?
So that's another great question. Nothing like being on the spot. So I've changed my mind at minimum 50 times. Because the type of personality that I am, I'm a fixer. So I'm pretty good at assessing like an individual or a business's needs and saying, hey, look, here's what I would recommend, or have you thought about this? So I like the strategy element of it, but I when I got pregnant with my son, I was no longer employed. So that's kind of when I started this entrepreneurial journey, independent of having company backs. But I got my health and wellness certification, and I have a couple different specialties underneath that, and then my life coaching certification. And then I never really did anything with it. So I found the company that I work for now and really enjoy that, get a lot of exposure to a lot of different people that do a lot of different things, and quickly realized like I need to hone in my focus, like what is my niche? So to be honest, that's a super long answer for I'm not 100% sure yet. I do have a website. I would say I call myself a lifestyle advocate because at the end of the day, what I enjoy doing is bringing out the best in people. And I enjoy working with people because I'm kind of quirky and I get anxious and uncomfortable. So I like helping people that have helped me return that back or pay it forward to help them get where they want to go.
So what's some of the things that help kind of draw you into that, especially with the getting the health and wellness certification? And I guess it sounds like you look at both business and life as sort of as a holistic approach. It's not just how can I help you with your business, but how can I help you kind of I guess it's almost like life flow, it's how life
Right.
flows.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I've always kind of looked at things in a 360 plus perspective. Because like you said, the flow of things, I mean, everything fuels and feeds into something else. I'm a big like energy person. I'm big on my faith. So I know that, things happen for reasons. And if we want a different outcome, we have to change our approach. And what started my interest in the health and wellness component is I've always been a relatively healthy person. When I moved to Atlanta from Dallas, Texas, I had accepted a job here to kind of seek out this dream opportunity that I'd been working on for years. And for whatever reason, I got really sick, and I got really physically sick. I had an eating disorder. I used alcohol pretty heavily as a coping mechanism to the stress that I was enduring. And eventually it just caught up with me. I got depressed. I was feeling anxious all the time. And I just got to a point where the lifestyle that I was leading was no longer sustainable. I wasn't sleeping well. And then once I got pregnant, it was that moment, that epiphany to me that I'm responsible for this little life forever. And what I'm going to do to myself is going to forever impact this little person. And I think it was in that moment because I was always told I couldn't have kids. So my getting pregnant was kind of like a true, honest miracle, true blessing, but it was a huge shock. I hadn't really ever been around kids. I was on the corporate fast track basically my whole life. I was not married. So it was a quick transition into, okay, I'm corporate, fast, doing all these things to, okay, I got to slow down because this isn't about me anymore. So that's where the health and wellness came in. It just really helped me further my education around the types of foods I need to be eating to fuel my body for the baby. And then also because I hadn't been around kids, I didn't know what to do. People say your maternal instinct kicks in. I'm still waiting on it because it didn't happen, but I'm learning because sometimes I eat weird things for breakfast, and it's like you can't teach a kid to eat hamburger meat for breakfast. You just, but it is what it is. So I got really heavy into, like, one of my specialty areas was like the pediatrics, and then also I have a soft spot for elderly and like helping them embrace technology to keep in touch with their loved ones. So those were kind of my two key focuses. And then that kind of spurred, I got bored basically and was like, oh, okay, let me find something else I could spend money on. So I got certified as a life coach, but at the time that I did that, it wasn't really, at least to my knowledge and in research, that wasn't really a thing yet. And I love the evolution and seeing so many people talking about it now, because there's a pretty fine line between like a therapist and those type practices versus what I'm trying to achieve, which is solely based on my own experiences, my own education, and my own eagerness to learn, one, about other people and how they've done things, what's worked, what hasn't, and then hopefully I can help other people along my journey as they're embarking on theirs.
Backing up a little bit and tell me a little bit about your fast tracking corporate career. What kind of college, and then like what kind of focus you had on the corporate side? What was some of your work in that area?
Sure. I would say it was with telecommunications, but the stuff I started in a call center, and I moved to 3 different states with the same company, doing various jobs. But I started at the very bottom, taking calls, inputting people's information, credit checks for people's cell phone access for stores. And as time would have it, as I gained more knowledge and experience, I moved up through the various business channels, I guess you could say. And took a job in Texas, was there for 13 years. And then that's what brought me, like I said, to Atlanta. But the bulk of it is I was consistently involved in new launch projects. So a lot of the beta testing, a lot of the QA and what's working, what's not working. They would oftentimes ask me to go find stuff and try to break it. And what's great about me is I'm really good at finding that without even trying. So if you ever need help in that area, I'm your girl. I get frustrated, but I'm good at it. But and when I moved to Texas, I worked in the routing operations center. So I got to see a lot of the back end stuff that kind of feeds the broader corporate umbrella. And then I started getting into marketing. And the way that I looked at marketing was quite different. So I was working with people that were tenured in that industry, had been with the company for a long time. And then there's this 23-year-old that's like eager beaver that loves technology, tests every phone, all that good stuff. So I had the opportunity to start really honing in and focusing on digital marketing. So I would go out and find, with partners, of course, I would go out and find these niche platforms that had something that was different to the market. I paused like that for a number of reasons, but the way I looked at technology was not how a lot of people perceive technology to be today. So for me, it was all about experience. And if you want to get in front of the right people, you have to be open and honest with them and give them what they want. And if it's not what they want, then don't try to make it something that they want or need. Just make it meet the need. So we started doing a lot of that innovative digital marketing type work. And then I was given the opportunity to take this project that literally no one in the entire corporation wanted. And I had a super tiny budget of $15,000. And oddly enough, my direct boss at the time said, hey, haven't you told me about this company before? Don't you use this? And it was a platform that I would use and check in every single day, and I would get points for it. And I mean, it was just kind of, I mean, to a lot of people it's dumb, monotonous, but to me it was interesting. The concept was. So I started whiteboarding this idea about changing behaviors and rewarding for those behaviors. So I took this $15,000 budget, proved it out, took a while, made many trips back and forth from Dallas to Atlanta. But it ultimately turned into, well, it's now split kind of all over because a lot of people bought into it, but it was a loyalty rewards program basically. And it rewarded people for behaviors that they do on a day-to-day basis. So you check your phone every day. Okay. So you're on it, get some points for it. You activated your phone, cool. You get some points for it. And the other fun part of it is there was a gamification element to it. So it wasn't just specific to an audience. Your experience would become tailored based on your habits on your device. So that's kind of where my sweet spot had been. But a lot of it was, selling it out to people, getting people to understand the technology, breaking into an organization that I was the newbie to was incredibly hard. And especially in the IT world, I tried not to, but I would get a little bit self-conscious at times just because of that. Part of it was my own insecurities, but the perception of corporate America, and I'm a younger girl coming in with this platform, but I turned it into almost $37 million profitable organization of its own. So that's probably one of my highest successes, but that I would say technology and telecommunications was the focus towards the end.
And it sounds like the wasn't just the technology side, but you really have an understanding of just what motivates people and kind of find those ways to nudge people into this better behavioral choices. I think that
Most definitely. And I think a lot of that is because I'm an empath. So I'm pretty good at like reading. Well, sometimes I'm not, but if people are being honest with me, I can usually read and assess situations and modify how I'm approaching whatever it is that I'm talking about. I like to think that I'm not a salesperson, but I think I'm starting to learn I'm probably a bit better at it than I thought I was. But I'm coming from a place not of like immediate me gain, like monetary gain. I'm coming at it like, let's help each other. Let's make things better. And so if you're motivated by some coins that you can earn, great. If you're not, cool, let's find what works for you. Because what works for me isn't going to work for you. It might model in such a way, but I think that's one of the most interesting things about people and why life coaching is so interesting to me.
And so you've had some time to I guess, and so you're still working out kind of how to hone in what you're working on, because you've got this kind of really big experience, and then you're kind of readjusting it for something that's outside of, I guess, something as structured as a software or corporate, and more trying to target to individual lives, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think ideally, you're helping me talk through this. I like it. Ideally, my objective would be to take my learning, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I had negative experiences, but who doesn't? But I try not to view negatives as negatives. There's a reason why those things happened, and so I've tried to learn and grow from those. But I have a lot of background and experience, and I know that there's a lot of people, especially now, breaking into this virtual world that I know I can help. And even if it's small things, like maybe you aren't good at Zoom videos. Well, I've been using Zoom for a long time, and I inherently enjoy looking at this stuff and figuring it out. And I've got a way with taking very complex things and making them more simplistic and pared down. So as the times continue to change and people are going into businesses for themselves, or maybe they're struggling a bit with their business because of the times, I think my objective would be, okay, I can maybe come in, help you assess what the needs are versus the wants, and then develop a strategy, a progressive kind of stepped approach to how you can achieve that.
So if people want, if there's something people hear and they say, oh, I could really use that, even if it's not fully structured right now,
Right.
is there a way people can get in touch with you?
Sure. You could go to my website. It's www.livepossible.today. Or you can check me out on Facebook under Tabitha Stout. Those are typically the two easiest ways to get to me. And I'm pretty responsive, so I try my best anyways.
Um, is there anything that I haven't covered that you'd really like to talk about?
Well, I will tell you thank you because I'm not shaking anymore. So you made me quite comfortable, which sometimes can be hard to do. So no, I think I've covered everything. It's been an interesting journey. I think the one thing that just, again, from my perspective, and I know a lot of different people do this, but when I stepped out of corporate, I was very stressed. Like I said, I wasn't healthy. And it's taken me a solid 4 years to really start regaining my confidence, reassessing what's important. And now that I do have a family, it's important to me to prioritize what's important. Like, yes, we have to make money. Yes, things have to get done. But at the end of the day, my kids come first. My family comes first. So I think that that's been a significant shift for me, and it's been a good one. And having lived that fast track corporate lifestyle for so long, I understand the positive and the negative ramifications of that. So hopefully if I can help people transition through, going from A to B or B to C. I've been kind of through multiple phases of each of those. And I'm a big mental health advocate too. A lot of people don't believe in the importance of mental health, but I 200% do. But again, I think it's part of that 360 view that you have to have that perspective that everything matters to everything else. So it's been a pleasure though. You made me, like I said, very comfortable on your show. So thank you. You're my first official podcast.
Well, thank you, Tabitha, and thank you for sharing your incredible experience with us. That was, yeah, I know we've been connected on Facebook, and I hadn't realized just how much experience you've had, and it's really incredible.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it, and enjoy your quiet day today, I hope. So
I know. I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. Maybe I'll actually do myself up for once. But awesome. Thank you, John. I'm sure we'll chat soon.
thank you, Tabitha. All right.
Bye.
Here, bye. All right. Welcome to
Woosah.